Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you follow my channel, then you probably have seen my tomato frog Scarlet. And if you're new to the channel, then today you're going to get to meet Scarlet. Because in today's video, we're going to give Scarlet a new and upgraded enclosure. Right now, Scarlet is living in this 10-gallon aquarium, and even though there's plenty of space for him and it's totally adequate for his well-being, it's really kind of ugly. And I'm so excited. I'm going to set Scarlet up in a new Exoterra Frogs & Co. bioactive terrarium. It's Exoterra's newest design, especially made for frogs and other high humidity species. It comes with a hole pre-drilled in the bottom and a bulkhead for emptying the drainage layer, and it has a newly designed top specially designed for holding in humidity. And different from previous Exoterras, it has a one-piece door for unobstructed viewing. So I think this is going to be perfect for Scarlet. So as you'd expect with any new vivarium build, the first step is to lay down the spray foam for the background. And here I'm using the Great Stuff Pond and Stone, which is a gray. It cures to more of a black color, and it basically just hides if I miss a spot when I put the silicone and substrate on there. And I have a couple nice pieces of bark that I'm going to use for planters. And what I'm doing is I'm only covering about half of the back and half of one side. And this vivarium is going to sit in a corner. And the way I've planned it, it should look really nice where it's located in the corner. And once the spray foam has dried and cured overnight, now the next step is to carve it down. You see that when it dries, it has a shiny surface on it, and the silicone and substrate won't stick to that. So you really just have to carve it down to whatever shape you want and get rid of that shiny surface. And then we'll be putting the silicone and substrate on it. This is kind of a tedious process, so I'm going to spare you to have to watch me do the whole thing. And we'll just move on to the completed background. If this part of the process is new to you, then I do have a previous video where I show how to make these backgrounds in a little bit more depth. So I'll put a link to that video in the corner. So this is what the finished background looks like. I ordinarily like to use black window film to cover any exposed glass, but this particular terrarium came with a forest background, and so I thought I'd give that a try. And I did something a little bit different. I covered the background with Exoterra dried forest moss rather than the ABG mix like I usually would. And on the bottom is a drainage layer that I covered with a piece of mesh, and there's a thick layer of ABG mix, and then a very thick layer of the same Exoterra dried forest moss. All of this moss is going to hold a lot of humidity, and it's going to give Scarlet a lot of opportunity to burrow into the substrate, which he loves to do. So this is what the finished vivarium looks like. I have Scarlet's water bowl in here. I have 2 clay pots as hides, and they're not the most naturalistic looking things, but Scarlet loves his clay pots. And I added a second one because I'm thinking of possibly getting a tank mate for Scarlet in the future. And if anything else, it just gives him an extra place to hide. And I've learned from experience that Scarlet will destroy plants, so I had to keep the plants fairly simple. I used some philodendron Brazil and some baby tears that are kind of draping down over his hide. And there in the corner is a piece of a zigzag plant, and that was a freebie that came when I ordered some plants before. It was just a cutting that I rooted, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I thought this is as good a place as any to plant that. And so now I think it's time to introduce Scarlet to his new home. So I would have enjoyed seeing Scarlet get excited and spend some time exploring his new surroundings, but that's not really what he did. He sat there in front of that hide for quite a while, and then eventually he jumped over into his water bowl. And I think what he's trying to do is figure out why he can't go into this forest. So after a little bit of this monkey business, he settled in and found a place to hide on top of this pot behind the plants. And it really is not surprising. All of this is new to him, and he needs to feel safe and secure. So I'm sure giving some time, he's going to get to know his new enclosure and feel safe, and he'll love it. Okay, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sure I'll be having some updates in the future on Scarlet and how he's doing in his new enclosure. And until the next video, I look forward to seeing you again real soon.